Alright, so this is going to be a video that's going to review some of the sections and information covered in 3.3. We're going to discuss some of that stuff. The majority of things that are discussed are exponents, and I have a couple of other videos on those. But another thing that I have, or that I don't have, is on this financial planning stuff. Alright, so let's look over this real quick. So far we've been doing interest annually, so simple interest is what we've been doing so far, but now we're going to learn how to do compounding interest. And in order to do that, we needed exponents in order to do compounding interest. Now we have a couple of formulas for compounding interest. They're right here in number 132. Now the hard part is not using these formulas, but knowing when to use which formula. So it's kind of difficult to know when to use these. So we're going to discuss which ones to use when. So if we're going to look at this, we're going to go down here to the 3.3 part B. So use your calculator and the savings plan formula to fill out the following table for the savings account. We are solving for A in all of these, so it wants simple. Okay, well that's easy. Simple is what we've been doing this whole time. Simple is just, see if I can find it. It's 1 plus r times t, or 1 plus r times y. Simple. So simple is yearly. Actually, no, it's not. It's something different. Simple is this. This is your simple formula. A equals P times 1, that's 1, plus R to the Y. Alright, so when we're looking at this, this book, simple interest would be right here. And let me show you how to use the formula. N is not included in this formula because it's 1. So this is simple because we're doing it just by the year. So N is 1. So let me explain what N is. N is how many times we're compounding per year. So if it says compounding monthly, so we can find where it's written. Here. Then this is our N. You can see this is what it's talking about. It may be hard to see, but this N per is that right there, N per. So the number of compoundings per year. So if you're compounded monthly, your N will be 12. Compounded daily, 365. Compounded quarterly, 4. And I will show how to use that as we get further along in this video. But first off, let's just finish up our simple interest formula. So it's 200, 0.8, and 15. So our principal, our P, is 200. 1 plus 0.08 to the 15. Now this is an important distinction. It's not 1 to the 15 plus 0.08 to the 15. It's not that. First we have to add what's in the parentheses. That's important. Some of us forget to do that. And our answers don't come out correct. But that's why. We need to add what's in the parentheses first. Now if we take this and we say that it's going to be 1.08, so let me pull up my calculator. It's going to be 1.08 to, not 2, 1.08 to the 15. So that's 3 point that. Okay, now we need to multiply that by 200, if you can see. Equals 634.43. So 634.43. So the financials is pretty easy to do when you get simple interest. Simple interest is pretty easy to do. If we look at question number 10, yep, that's the answer. All right, so simple interest is pretty easy to do. Now it's when we're solving for things like quarterly or monthly. Let's do a monthly example. So we have a different formula for monthly. This is the simple. A equals P times 1 plus R to the Y. That's simple interest formula. Compounding interest formula is A equals P times 1 plus R over N to N y times Y. Alright, so how would we use this formula? Let's look in the book. 200.8% for 12 months. 200 at a rate of 0.08, and it's compounded monthly. So we put n as 12 in this case, and we do n times, or 12 times, how many years are we doing this for? It looks like 15. Alright, so 15 times 15. So now we're going to deduce this down into a reasonable equation. Let's first do 12 times 15. 180, alright, so that's going to be important. That's going to be our exponent. Well, now we got to figure out what's going to be in the parentheses. And that 200 is still going to be there. So A equals all that. So the amount we're looking for, A is amount. And in these problems so far, all we're looking for is amount. We haven't learned how to reduce or change the formula in any way. And it doesn't look like we need to for this one. But now we're going to have 1 plus 0.08, which is divided by 12, which is so 0.08 divided by 12, 0.0006 plus 1, okay, so it's 1.006. To the 180. So 3.3. Now we're going to multiply that by 200. 661.38. So the hard part in this one is knowing your order of operations. So always remember, divide. So technically there's like a parenthesis here. Divide, then add. So always do it in this order. I'll write down the steps. Always divide, then add, then exponent, then multiply. And that will give you the correct answer every time if you do it that way. So always divide, add, exponent, then multiply. And doing it that way will give you the correct answer every time. So if you notice, this number is bigger than our previous answer. So this one says that the answer is 661, but you see how they're all incrementally increasing? The more times you compound in a year, the more money you will make. So if you notice that this one right here will compound and make you the most money. Technically, and be at the higher rate will make you the more money, because if you don't have it, then you won't have the money. If you have a low rate, you won't have the more money. Something else to keep in mind is if you're looking for PMT, you have to use this formula. And if you remember your order of operations, find everything on the bottom first, get it down to one number, then work on the top. And get it down to one number, then divide. You will get a decimal. Multiply it by P, that's okay. Decimals are okay in this case. And we're working with financial stuff. This one, so this is the savings plan formula. This one you use when you've got a principal amount that you start with, and then and then you're putting in an amount of money per month. that's how you would solve for that one. I don't know if you have to do that in this case. Let me see. No, you do not have to. You might have to in C. Yeah. You might have to in C using your spreadsheet, but this one is going to be unique to each individual, so I'm not going to talk about it in this video because it is unique to each individual. Um, but yeah, that should be it. I'll do another video talking about percentages, but that talks about the financial stuff that you will find here in 3.3 Part B.